Hello, my name is Rain and welcome to my channel where I discuss Fantasy Formula 1. These are going to be my final thoughts heading into the Bahrain GP deadline tomorrow, Saturday afternoon. I will be live here on this channel for the first proper deadline stream of the season where I'm at home, I have all my gadgets and I'm actually going all the way up to the deadline. Might even stick around to watch the qualifying with you guys as well. So if you want to be there, subscribe to the channel so you do not miss it. Any burning questions you have, I'll rate your teams. I'll do my my transfers on stream, all of that stuff. And again, most people who watch these videos actually aren't subscribed. I know it's super annoying to hear your YouTubers talk about that all the time, but it actually does help so much. So please just scroll down, check if you're subscribed. If you aren't subscribed, you can always unsubscribe in a week if you get annoyed with my videos showing up in your feed. You don't have to put notifications on or anything like that. I think that's also kind of annoying, but just subscribing costs nothing and helps me out a ton. All right, let's get into talking about this. This is going to be a very raw video because this is quite late. It's past midnight here in Sweden. But I really wanted to wait for the post FP2 simulations on F1 Fantasy Tools to come out. And looking at the optimal teams for F1, according to the simulations on F1 Fantasy Tools for the Bahrain Grand Prix, it is the team that everyone suspected, right? You have McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri, Behrman, Ocon, Hadjar, and Doohan for a total budget of 103.5 million. Most of you, some of you might not be able to afford it. If you can't, no worries. Bortoleto and Doohan, I mean, look at the difference in points between these two teams. The projected points difference is 0.2 points. So Bortoleto and Doohan look very similar in terms of points gain. It's just that Doohan is more likely to increase in price because he actually got a few points in Japan, whereas a lot of other drivers did not, right? So, with that said, let's quickly, everyone knew that this was going to be the team that was most popular. McLaren looked unbeatable, Mercedes still looked really good, and these look like the best drivers. For budget, this again, obviously, for 0.6 million increases, they put V-Carb and Haas in there, but if we balk McLaren and Mercedes down here, for budget with McLaren and Mercedes, this is still the best team. It looks like the optimal team. I think a lot of people are going to run it. I'm not going to rush to get to it, though. And I'm going to show you why. Here, let's go to my team 1 and sort by points. These are the premium features on F1 Fantasy Tools where you can input your own teams. And I can see my team right here, my current team. And it will give me some suggestions what it thinks the transfers, the simulations think I should do according to, how many transfers I have available and stuff like that. If you want to get access to these premium features, you can do so with my link at the top of the description for 50% off your first month. Anyway, all the suggested teams down here say I should take a -20 to get McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri in here. And I understand why, right? The more I look at it, the more I just want to go for it, right? Just leap of faith, take the -20. But the thing is, so many people are going to have this team anyway without taking the -20, or perhaps by only taking a -10. So the way I look at it is, sure, I might get the most points with this. But again, these are simulations. And since I know this is going to be, I'm just going to move this, since I know this is going to be the most popular team, right? The McLaren, Mercedes, Behrman, Ocon, Hadjar, Doohan team is going to be so popular. I just feel like I can be differential this week. And the way I feel like I can be differential is by just not taking that -20. Because the way I look at it is I'm just going to lose 20 points to everyone else who does this strategy. And sure, I might end up losing 40 points to the people who do this strategy by me sticking to my strategy. But at least I'm different. And if, for example, a Mercedes asset that I don't have DNF, there is a lot of upside for me to gain. Now, with that being said, I'm going to show you one other thing that sort of speaks in my favor to doing my strategy. And these are the raw simulations from Ryther on the F1 Fantasy Tools Discord. These are the percentage chance for each asset to increase in price in Bahrain. And it doesn't look good for the cheap assets, right? Your B tier assets that can increase 0.6 million, it doesn't look great. Hajar, 93% chance, 93% likely to increase the maximum, looks like the obvious pick. I think if you don't have Hajar on your team, I think you kind of have to get Hajar on your team this week. On top of that, he can't even decrease because he's reached the floor. But mainly it is Duan, right? Duan, only 42% likely to increase 0.6 million, is not a big enough upside for me to rush to get him. If he had the same percentage as Bearman at an 81% likelihood, I would be more inclined to rush for it. I would also be more inclined to rush for it if I had one of the, even worse assets than Lance Stroll. Like, look at Hulkenberg, 99% likely to decrease the maximum, must sell. I am selling Hulkenberg to Hajar this week. That transfer is locked in unless Hajar gets injured in FP3 or something like that. But Stroll, which is my second driver, just looks very likely to decrease 0.2 million. Can still get a decent amount of points, and I know you probably saw that a lot of the simulations in terms of points for my team personally recommended Alonso. And I'm not getting Alonso this week because he's 100% likely to decrease 0.6 million according to F1 Fantasy Tools. But Lance Stroll likely won't decrease the maximum and still has a chance to increase in price, right? And if Alonso looks decent for points, maybe Stroll can pick up a few points as well. And if Stroll does pick up a couple of points, maybe he will be more likely to increase in the future after, the low score that he got in the past two races have sort of been removed from the calculation. So I don't feel too bad about holding Stroll. And if you didn't see my team selection video, you should definitely go check that out. But I talked a lot about why I want to save a transfer for next week. And this has just reinforced that. The fact that Duan doesn't look that good. And if Ocon, Bearman, or Stroll, or Hajar for that, for that reason, which will very, very likely be my four cheap drivers in Bahrain. If one of them DNF, which could happen, I would want to remove them next week. And with 3 free transfers in Saudi, I can get to the McLaren Mercedes team that everyone is on, and also make a transfer among my cheap drivers if I need to remove one of them. Or let's say Alonso has a great weekend, and so his 2 DNFs are suddenly out of the equation, and now Alonso looks super likely to rise in price. I can get Alonso in. I can sort of be ahead of the curve, because right now I'm behind the curve. I need to take a -20 to get to the team that a lot of people are going to be at in Bahrain. And if I just bide my time, have some patience, I'm going to take you on the chin. I'm going to get some extra budget from owning Haas for another week. But I'm going to lose a couple of points. Hopefully, I can minimize that loss as much as possible with maybe a lucky DNF to one of the Mercedes assets. And suddenly I'm ahead of the curve. That's kind of the angle I'm focusing on right now, and I think it's a valid angle. Let me know if you think I'm super wrong, or if I should just take the -20. I haven't completely ruled out just going for it, but I feel like I can afford to be a bit differential, especially if Leclerc and Hamilton turn up. I know it doesn't look fantastic, but they have brought upgrades. And if they can just ruin Mercedes' party, or if Kimi Antonelli can have a semi-bad week, perhaps Mercedes won't end up on the massive 54-pointer, and we can perhaps get some points taken away from them if Ferrari perform better. So that is the angle I'm going for. This, again, my team currently, Hulkenberg has got to go. There's no other way about it. Almost guaranteed to drop in price. Hajar almost guaranteed to increase in price. I think this is going to be my team. Again, this could change. Things could happen in FP3, but we won't know that until the deadline stream tomorrow. So do not miss that deadline stream tomorrow, 2 hours before the deadline, all the way up to it. Any burning questions you have then, I will answer them, I promise. I will see you then. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you made it this far. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.